So we got Trisha Cicero here on the line, and she is going to be making her second professional MMA fight coming up for Titan FC, and she's also helping Joanna Champion. Now, Trish, what was going on in that very first fight that you had?
She was coming in from another country, coming from Brazil, very tough, a lot taller and bigger than me. It was a very close fight. You know, it could have gone either way. I felt, and some of my coaches felt, that I won that fight. You could also look at the fight and clearly see how they gave it to her for the win. So, you know, it was a very competitive, very tough fight. We both had great moments, and overall, it was an amazing learning experience going into this next one.
So you have great BJJ, but what have you been working on recently? Like, what are some of the things you're working on at American Top Team?
We've been working a lot of BJJ, of course, always is a big strong point, and wrestling. Actually, the whole last couple months I've been training with Joanna, helping her in her camp, helping her prepare for Jessica Andrade. So a lot of my training the last couple months has been wrestling and a lot of jiu-jitsu on the ground, which has been great. And then as far as striking goes, I've been doing a lot of my training this whole year with Roger Crawl. My background actually is karate, and Roger Crawl is one of our striking coaches who has a karate background also. So it's been really nice to kind of go back to my roots, which I think is what I was missing in my last fight. So
Joanna's kind of new to the gym as well. What's her experience been like that you've really noticed? Because, she came from over Poland. She's training in America now at ATT. What have you been noticing with her?
Oh, she's incredible. Sometimes it's hard when you see the UFC fighters in the weigh-ins, when you see them on the Ultimate Fighter show. You're not really sure. Are they like that all the time, or is that just for show? And I think part of it is that there's always those emotions going into a fight, especially during the face-offs. We've all seen Joanna have that very intimidating demeanor, right in the face. But she's been, in my experience, and I think most of the people at the gym have found also, just one of the most pleasant people to be around. Always willing to take a picture with somebody on the side, always smiling, always saying hi to everybody, always goofing around with everybody. Just a pleasure to be around. The energy that she has is contagious, and to see her train is just so incredibly motivating.
So I know that she was just on that season of Ultimate Fighter. She got the win over Claudia, and then UFC 205, which was absolutely crazy, being Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Training with somebody like that. Have you ever trained with these kind of caliber kinds of people before? Because I know there are a lot of young upcomers at ATT, like Jamie Alvarez and people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, besides Amanda and besides Joanna, we have many of the girls that are in the UFC in our gym as well. Tisha Torres is a phenomenal fighter and training partner. Nina Ansaroff is incredibly tough. And not to mention Valerie Letourneau, who fought Joanna for the title a little over a year ago. So, the caliber of women that we have in the gym, and the men like Jamie Alvarez, like Matt Schnell, that are also like my weight class, around 125. It's great.
I got to get your opinion on something right here. There's Invicta, there's UFC, and now, of course, Bellator is opening up all of these promotions as well for the women. Did you want to see a 145-pound division or a lighter weight division open up first?
I mean, I fight at 125, so that's the missing division in the UFC. So that's what I would have wanted to see. I think that there are enough of the 145ers that probably could fight at 135 as well. Like Holly and Jermaine have fought their whole career at 135 already. I know it's a hard weight cut for somebody like Chris Cyborg, but I think for most of the bantamweights, they're good for that weight class. I just think that there's so many girls I see just in our gym and in general that suffer to make that 115 because they feel like they're too small for 135, which is in the case of Nina and Val. Val killed herself to make 115 her whole career in the UFC, and it's not healthy,
It's not, and that's been a huge issue that a lot of people are kind of gaining knowledge on because they're doing these videos with Chris Cyborg, watching her go through the weight cut, or all these other fighters that are going through it, and it's a hard thing. So, it's I got to ask you this. How does your weight cut usually go? What do you usually practice to cut your weight?
One of the great things is I have all these people to learn from as far as cutting weight and the right way to do it. So I had really good practice in my amateur career where it's pretty smooth. I know where I'm at now. I know what I need to do. It's a little bit of a short time for the fight, but it's going smooth so far. So far, so good.
And are you from Florida, or where did you grow up?
Actually from upstate New York. I'm from Syracuse.
Hey,
So
East Coast girl.
yeah. So I moved down here 12 years ago for the weather. I was actually working for karate schools that had schools in Florida. So it was kind of a win-win. Weather, I could keep doing karate, teaching karate, and it just worked out. So
I've always wanted to leave home, move somewhere else, but I got to ask you this as well. Do you miss New York? I mean, come on. It's the East Coast.
I'll always be a New Yorker at heart. Yeah. Florida's a different world for sure. I wouldn't trade the weather, but I miss the people. The people, it's a different vibe up there.
What about the pizza? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I miss pizza right now, and I only just started my camp, so.
So do you kind of crave foods when you're going through weight cuts? What's usually like the first thing you do after a fight, after an amateur fight or a pro fight? What's the first thing you do?
Anybody that knows me knows I love pasta. I'm an Italian, so I love pasta, and like I have the worst sweet tooth. Cookies is like my nemesis. Like cookies and ice cream, So yeah, there'll be a big bulking period the week after.
So you said you were just finishing up practice today. What were you up to? What was your day like today? Can you bring our listeners through a day in the life?
Sure. I work also outside of fighting. So I do personal training, which is great. So I was able to train a couple clients in the morning around 7, 8 a.m., take a little rest. And then we had our sparring practice this morning at 11. And it was great. We had the head coach at our gym is Conan, and he ran the sparring practice. I had my coach Pahumpa and Mike Brown there. I sparred Nina Ansaroff today. Amanda was on the floor sparring. One of the other girls we have visiting was a great training partner, and it was good. We did hard rounds. It was hard sparring day.
So do you think the UFC should do another season to kind of invite the girls? Because I've heard some rumors.
I've seen some of those rumors as well. Yeah, I think they're going to keep bringing girls in. I think maybe one of the reasons why they're not willing to open up like that 125 weight class is because they are worried they'll lose too many girls from the 115 or the 135, and then those divisions won't be deep enough, and the 125. I kind of have a feeling, and I've heard, around rumors that, that might be it. So I think the more girls they bring in, Invicta has a strong 125 division. I've even seen a lot of LFA 125ers, Bellator now. So I think it's growing. I think the more women that continue to fight, the more it's gonna, grow, obviously. So. Well,
a big thing, you have the champion Joanna Champion trying to push for it. She wants another title shot. She wants a title in a different division. So we're gonna have to wait and see what they do with it. But as for your year, I mean, how many times this year do you see yourself fighting?
I'd like to get 3 fights. I was hoping to actually fight before this point, and I had a couple fights that fell through. Actually 3 fights where I had said yes, and then the person backed out for one reason or another. That's kind of how the game goes right now. But I'd like to get 2 more fights in this year. I feel great, provided I'm healthy and no injuries. I'd like to fight in the summer and then again, in the fall or winter.
So I am so thankful for you coming on Pure EVil MMA. Before we let you go, I kind of want to run through your amateur career. Like, what was it like fighting for XFN?
XFN was incredible. Actually, I think I was a little bit spoiled. It was such an amazing promotion. Daniel K did a really, really great job. Still does. They're still going. I still support the events. And it was just very well run. It really set me up for my pro career very well, almost a little too much, where now I see sometimes as a pro, things don't always go as smoothly as they did when I was an amateur. So as far as getting a fight and opponents and things like that. But yeah, it was really nice.
And what about social media? Are you on Twitter? I know you're on Facebook, but I couldn't find your Twitter, Instagram. Where can everybody find you?
It's just under my first and last name, so Trisha Cicero, and that's my Twitter and my Instagram. And yeah, you can find me. I post stuff all the time, keep you guys up to date on training.
It's always fun to see what the fighters are up to. We got Snapchat, Instagram, and you get to see a little more than what the TV shows you on fight night. So it's a big thing that the fighters, you guys, reach out to the fans. Come on for these interviews so everybody can meet you, and we really appreciate you joining us today. So before we let you go, we're going to hand the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have any sponsors, shout outs, anything at all, the floor is now yours.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate being on the call. I appreciate all of my fans, my teammates, my supporters, American Top Team, super grateful for all the amazing training I get there. And yeah, we're working on getting sponsors right now. So appreciate any support that's out there. It's not an easy life always being a fighter, but we do it because we love it, and we always appreciate all of the support that we get. So
Well, we wish you the best of skill in your upcoming ventures here in professional MMA. Thank you so much, Trisha, for joining us today.